For example, I activated this. You can see that the all-in-one tutorial is activated. If I deactivated this, you can see that this is deactivated. Hello and welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to create troops in 1.5.7 because it will be changed and it will be outdated now. And this will be a part 1 of all-in-one XML tutorial. So let's dive in. Let's create our own mod. By the way, you can create it through modding tools, but I'm gonna create it manually. So let's create our all-in-one. Doesn't look good. All-in-one, just like that. And then I'm just gonna take some submodules. It's better to take the Sandbox one. And let's rename it with, for assurance, let's just copy this. Please ignore this. This is my previous work. So ID of the submodule should match the should match the name here. I haven't. And for the name, you can name it whatever you want. So let's just call it all-in-one tutorial. Version, this is self-explanatory. Default module should be false so that you can disable it. Single player module true, and official value should be false because this is not made by Tailwords. Now independent module, now they have a version, but for example, you want your mod to load last. If you want your module to be dependent, for example, to another mod, you can just paste the ID of that mod here. For example, you have another mod and you want it to be activated first before using this. It is called prerequisite. Just put it here. And for example, you don't want your mod to be down, or you want your mod to be above native, then just remove this and your mod can now be put up. Let me just show you in real time. So you can see here, I can put it above native, and if this means this is not saved. Now if I save this, Control S, and exit this again, I'm gonna open it again, and you can see here that I cannot put the all-in-one above Sandbox and Sandbox Core and native because that is dependent. Now let me show you another one, which is, for example, I created another module. Let's rename this to space is not allowed, and let's say that these two, all-in-one 2, is dependent on, by the way, I pressed Control D to duplicate. For example, I want this to be dependent on all-in-one, and I'm gonna exit this. For example, I activated this. You can see that the all-in-one tutorial is activated. If I deactivated this, you can see that this is deactivated. Now if I drag it above all-in-one, it won't. So no matter what you do, you cannot put it above the dependent module. So now let's move on to the main topic, creating a troop. Now we have created our module named all-in-one. Now let's create, not this, let's create a new folder named module data. This is where you will put all the XML files you're gonna use. So now that this is blank, you can take the template in Sandbox core. We will create a body properties. Maybe the equipment set will be next time. Characters, and that's all. Let's put it here, and since this is not yet registered in our submodule, as you can see here, these have some submodules here which we do not have, because this is a DLL file. DLL file is contained inside bin, and we don't have that, and we don't need that for creating a troops. So we will just delete this. Make sure that you are deleting the correct tag. For example, you deleted this part accidentally, your game will crash. And I have a XML tool that will not let me save it, or will say some error that I had deleted it accidentally. It doesn't match. Now I'm gonna save it again, and now it's fine. Same with this XML nodes. This is the main tag, and we will only keep what we need. So we don't have items, cultures. We have these characters. Obsolete we don't have, and it doesn't have any content. We don't have this. We only have body properties, and that's all for now. So for the next video, this is still our mod. We won't need to create a new module. So now let me explain what this is. So if I open SPNPC characters, you can see that it has a NPC characters. Different from this doesn't have an S. Up until the end of the XML. That is the main tag that you should put. Why? Oh, I see. This is the one. I haven't saved it. Save. That you will put here. This will be put here. And then the path is the name of the XML or the folder. For example, I added a folder here. Let's just name it the same name as this. If I put it here, no matter what the name is, for example, I just call this ABCD, this will still be loaded because Bannerlord will search the XML inside this path, which you call it SPNPC character. So even if you created many XML here, it will all be loaded. Sometimes it doesn't work on, for example, on what is it? I forgot what it is, but just try if it's working. For characters, it works. So let's keep this as is. Now the same with this one. Body properties is the main tag, and this is the singular. This is the plural. So that makes sense. This editor, no, I have changed the name. That's why. So first, let's create our troop based on empire. So let's take the recruit. Maybe just a 3-tier troop. This is a Vigla already. So let's just take this. I'm just gonna paste it somewhere to save. I'm gonna take the level 16, and that's all. Just that's the 3-tier troop we need. I'm gonna take this again and delete everything, as this is just a sample. So let me explain first. Your troop has a level which determines which tier it is. Level 6 is tier 1, level 11 tier 2, 16, 21, and 26. 31 is the tier 6. So in normal troops, you don't have a tier 6 unless you want. So before, in 1.5.6, you can see here the civilian template, but it doesn't have now. You can also place this female if you want. If you want your troops to be a female, make sure that the next upgrade target is also the same gender, or else you'll make your troop become a gender bend after upgrading them. Now let me explain the body properties that is also changed on 1.5.7. Before, this is the NPC character, something like this, but now it is the body property. And let's talk about this later more, because this will be a little longer for this. Now in skills, you might already know what skills it. Just putting something like 200 here will be registered in game. Now in upgrade targets, this means that your troop will be upgraded into this ID, which is the one I have put here, infantryman, but I haven't take this one, so I'm gonna remove it, or else it will be connected to imperial troop. And the next thing is the equipment. This is the big change here. Before, this is equipment set. Now it's just equipments and equipment roster. I thought this equipment roster won't let us have a random variation of equipment, but up until now I can see that it is random. For example, this pitchfork can be registered here. So your troop will have a random variation of this roster. Now the equipment set is something like a equipment template. So for you to understand it more, this is the equipment you will put directly here, and it will be registered. While just for clearance, let me just remove this first. For example, I have this, the battle template. This is called the battle template, the troops equipment. So putting this here will be loaded during battle. Now if I, for example, copied this and put civilian, wrong spelling, civilian equal true, just like this. Now where am I? This means this is a civilian template armor for your troop. I haven't changed this. Let me change this first. Sample tier 1, and let's name this just the same as this is just a sample. This basic troop means this troop can be recruited, though I don't think I don't think that this is really important for now, because even if this is not a basic troop, as long as you put this ID on the culture, you can recruit it. Just forget it. It will be on the next topic if you haven't any idea. So this will be the civilian template, but if we go something like this, let me just put it back. This will be the equipment set. You can see here on Sandbox core, equipment set. Let me just copy this. Now you can see that this is an equipment roster that contains the equipment set. So this is just a equipment template that will be loaded once the troop is on towns. But for civilian, I don't think this is important too right now, because this will still be loaded on towns when the troop is a guard. So let's leave this as is. Now, for example, I want every troop here to have a sword, for example this one, or just a horse. Anyone has a horse here. Shield, let's just take this shield. For example, you want every variation to have a shield, then let's just put it here. You can see that this is not inside the equipment roster. Just the is this. I think I made a mistake here. Let's save, and you can see that I really did create a mistake. This shouldn't be here because it doesn't have a partner. Save, and it's now true, now correct. You can see that this is not part of equipment roster. So this means that this will be put inside here. This will be loaded inside all of this roster. I think we're done. So let's just leave this as is and see this female in game. Sample tier 1. The other two would be sample tier 2, which should match our ID here. And for this, sample tier 3, sample tier 3. And this will be connected to Imperial Group 3, which will be males. Let me just show you how weird it is. So let's talk about body properties again. This fighter empire is a face template for this one body properties. So the changes that was made on 1.5.7 is this face template fighter empire. If I paste this in the face of the hero, this will generate a face. Also this one, these two is necessary because this is the maximum face value the game can use, and this is the minimum value. Before, this doesn't have a min, just this two, but now this requires a min value. Just say, let's just say that the troops will have a phase in between these values. So they will have a random phase, but not so random because you have set the minimum phase appearance. This just means that if you use this ID of the body property, for example this one, the body property is fighter empire, this will be loaded, this body property will be loaded for this kind of troop. But you can also do this directly if you don't want to create a something like this. But this is much better so that you don't need to change every, for example, you want to change this, everything that you have put it, or if you put it in every troop and you want to change something, then you need to change everything. But in this case, if you want to change something here, this will be applied to every troop that has this body properties ID. So that's the use of it. So how can you take this code? Where can you get it? You can take it from when you create your hero. Let me just show you. Let's try this mod and let's play the game. Start the game. So earlier I was talking about body properties. So let's just, for example, I want to take the face of this one, or if I made my custom face, you can just press Control C, and let me paste it here. You can get the body properties. For example, this group, you can see that this looks different, but they are just the same. Just put this down, and this doesn't matter. Even if you don't arrange this like this, that will still be valid. So this, you just need to add max here. Same with, for example, I want every troop to look like this without change. I mean, this will be a fixed appearance for every troop. Then put two the same body properties and you're good. But since our troop is female, it will look something like this. Let's close her up. Now this is not yet saved. So let's save it and let's skip it. Now let's try to search this name, sample tier 1, and check if this is working. Here 3 is missing. I think I haven't named it yet. Yes, this is Imperial Trained Infantryman. This will be applied after you load a save. Example, this one sample tier 1. Oh, she have a different face because the face I have put before is not applied yet. You can see here that this became still a female, but after that male. So the gender is bent after this. So let's just save this and load it again. Now let's see again. Sample 2, sample tier 1. The face, this is still different, but you get the point. This is the female version of the male I pasted earlier. I'm not sure why this is bland, but this is the same. So I think this is it for now. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't, and this will have a sequel, which is creating heroes, clans, and maybe kingdom. So take care.